But I got an internship started at Robert Morris College, now Robert Morris University, and WTAE, from which now there has been an internship every semester. At least one person has come from RMU to work at WT as an intern, and that started with me. I was the first one ever in 1997.
Started actually in television news, and I was working as an intern at KDK TV in the newsroom, and I was writing newscasts, producing newscasts back in the days when Bill Burns and Patty Burns were on the air. And then over time, I was there about 13 years, and I realized that I wanted to do something more, something in depth, something that was longer than just 30 seconds or a minute. And ultimately, I had an opportunity to come here to WQED, and I came here, and I've been doing that ever since. I think the opportunity that we have here to reach out and touch people, and you don't realize at the time when you're creating the project, you just know that it's a good piece of work. But then over time, especially once it airs, and then people start sending emails or calling and telling you that your project meant something to them, that it touched them, that it helped them, that it inspired them.
I decided to go into broadcasting to further my experience in the field and in the control room. I really found that I had a passion for all of that work while I was in college, so I wanted to take it to the next level.
It really starts with the concept. You know what the story is going to be, and then you have to figure out ways to execute the idea. How many shoots are you going to have? How many edits are you going to have? How are you going to line up all the interviews? How much money can you spend? How much money can you save? So it is really a huge process that involves way more than just the executive producer. You're dealing with photographers, you're dealing with editors, you're dealing with budgets.
I have several kind of different jobs as a broadcaster, so I get different joy out of each of those jobs. I love being a part of the team that I'm at WTAE and here at WQED. I really like the excitement and the passion that comes with the sports radio jobs that I do, play-by-play for all the WPIAL sports around the area. And I also get great pleasure in later reflecting back on guys that I did their stuff in high school as they reach a professional rank.
Quite often, there are stories out there that we don't know exist until a viewer writes us or calls us and tells us that it's out there. I got a call from a man in Memphis, Tennessee, who told me that he had recently uncovered some artifacts that belonged to his mother. She had been a portrait artist during World War II, and she came up with this really unique and brilliant idea to travel the battlefields of Europe and sketch soldiers and then send those portraits home to their worried families in the United States. So she would go to the field camps, she would sketch the soldiers, as you can see on the screen here. She would roll up the portrait, she would put it in a tube and ship it back to the United States to their mothers or their wives or whomever would be appreciative of getting that portrait. And she touched hundreds and hundreds of families during World War II.
My roles here at WQED vary from managing all of our production, whether that be in the studio, in the field, all the people that are involved with making that production happen. I also am involved as the director of all of our local and national shows here at WQED in the control room. And when I'm really passionate about something, I get out in the field and like to produce either feature segments or documentaries. I'm also on the air as the voice of WQED TV and occasionally can be heard on WQED FM 89.3.
Because of my unique experience in business for all these years where, I have worked in accounting the entire time that I've worked in broadcasting. And that's really helpful because a lot of times production people don't know what accountants are talking about. And a lot of times accountants have no idea what production people are talking about. And I think that's really one of my best values to WQED is as a translator between David in the finance department or Rick in the finance department or the business office and Rick. I kind of speak both languages, if you will. And that makes me, I think, gives me some added value for WQED.
I have done some work on teen suicide that was very rewarding in kind of a sad way, but that program was about teenagers who take their own lives and how their parents are left with this giant void in their life. And the particular story that I referred to is a program we did called Losing Lambert, in which a mother was so devastated by her son's suicide, he was a high school student, that for a while she grieved terribly, but then she found a way to turn it into a positive, in that she became an advocate for other parents who recently lost a child to suicide. They could go to her for help, for advice.
My best advice to college students who are looking to get into the broadcasting field is be laser focused on what you really want to achieve. If you want to be behind the camera, in front of the camera, working in print or on radio stations, make sure you get laser focused, but also get a nice broad experience with a lot of the other programs that your school has to offer.